Hey yo, what is up? Type 62 is on sale, so I thought I'd do a video about this tank. I have not played this tank in years, but this was one of my favorite tanks back in the day. This and the 1357, two of my favorite tanks of all time. I've not played this tank in about maybe 5 years, so it was time for me to revisit this tank. Now, is this tank worth it in 2022 now that it's on sale? Well, we're going to talk about it. I got two videos for you. The first replay is in Halluf, and the second replay more of a traditional spotting gameplay of this tank in Malinovka. Now, this replay is more of like a combat replay because you're going to find in many situations where a light tank has to perform more like a medium tank. You've got to be aggressive, you've got to not just spot, you've got to be attacking, you've got to be taking the fight to the enemy if you want to win, if you want to get damage, if you want to do well. You cannot just play a Type 62 like a traditional light tank and just be passive spotting all the time. That's not to say you want to be throwing your tank away and being hyper aggressive all the time and losing all your HP early in the game. You still need to play sensibly, try to spot early in the game, which is what I'm trying to do right now. And if you look at the minimap, the 1357 has been spotted. The other light tank, which the SP1C, has not been spotted, but with the 1357 being spotted, that's enough for me to trigger a attack response. I'm going forward, going across, and trying to take the fight to the enemy. If you do not be aggressive, if you do not play the moves, if you do not make the moves, it is very highly unlikely that you will have a high percentage win rate. Now, I played this tank in this account for maybe 15 games, maybe something like that, and managed to retain a 71% win rate. And even though I've not played this tank for a long time, I feel like that is a very great achievement. Now, this tank has changed a lot over time. What I'm trying to say is actually this tank has not changed, because during the light tank apocalypse sometime in 2019, this tank was one of the tanks that was not buffed. This and the 1357 and the Type 64, they were not nerfed. I mean, that was what I wanted to say. They were not nerfed when the light tank apocalypse happened in 2019. This tank was spared from being nerfed. This tank, 1357 and Type 64. But even though it was not nerfed, everything around us, a lot of new tanks been added into the game, which made this tank in 2022 not as strong as it used to be in 2017, 2018, 2019. There, the SP1C has been spotted. I knew he was somewhere there because I was being spotted at that corner, and I pinged on the map to let my team know the SP1C was definitely there, and there he was. So now I'm firing at the 1357 enemy, 1357 a distance away, and this is one of the disadvantages of this tank: a very slow shell velocity. 793 is just not going to cut it in 2022. This is what makes the tank very challenging to play, as well as the only 5 degrees of gun depression. Makes it very hard to play. 5 degrees of gun depression and the slow shell velocity makes it really difficult to play. This is a light tank, no armor at all. Now trying to shoot at that 1357, very difficult to shoot when you're on the move. Trying to shoot because the slow shell velocity, you've got moving dispersion of 0.14. Even though I'm running double vertical stabilizers, it's still very hard to hit any kind of tank on the move. If you have to shoot EBR Hodge, any wheeled tanks, it's really difficult with this kind of shell velocity. But here you go. Try to shoot the S51 with my HE shells. Did not pay off there, only got 130 damage. I might as well should have fired my AP or HE shell, heat shells to get 180 damage, but my second HE shells HE shell on the Rheinmetall Borsig finally paid off, 341 damage with it. This tank only does 180 damage, the penetration 145, but if you're firing gold shells like I am, 220, which is necessary if you're playing against tier 8 tanks. Like I said, back in 2017, 2018, 2019, this tank was one of my favorite tanks to play, besides the 1357. But in 2022, this tank is a little bit more challenging, not because this tank was nerfed. Remember, like I said, this tank was not nerfed. One of the 3 tanks that were not nerfed during light tank apocalypse. The only reason it is not as strong as it used to be is because everything around it has been strengthened. All the new tanks have better guns, better camo, better shell velocity, better gun handling, better mobility. So this tank is kind of like not as strong as it used to be. Now I'm 1v1ing with the 1357. He can't finish me off. I try to ram him even with my auto aim, and he is right in front of me. I still miss him just because he was turning away as I was firing my shot. That is how slow the shell velocity of 793 is. It makes a lot of difference. A 793 shell velocity and a 1000 shell velocity is a lot of difference. So keep that in mind. If you need to shoot, you know, you want to be avoiding auto aiming because the shell velocity is just pretty bad. And here I'm going to try and shoot the E4, but this guy is blocking me. I want to reverse, get out of the way. I'm going to reposition and try and shoot him again, but here's the problem. 5 degrees gun depression is letting me down. I can't shoot him from here because I just can't depress my gun enough to shoot the T-54E1. So doing only about, you know, 1400 damage in this game is pretty bad, but you got to balance it out. You know, it is not a lot of damage that I'm doing, but I did get some spotting damage, which is also about 1400, so it's not too bad at the end of the day. But in terms of light tanks doing a lot of damage, this thing does not do as much damage as a 1357. You know, just as a comparison for you. Now the next game that I have for you is going to be more of a traditional light tank gameplay in Malinovka, so let's go straight to that and show you what this tank can do. Besides you know, just spotting, you also want to be as aggressive as possible. I'm going to try and take the bush right in the middle of the map to be aggressive, to be get the early spots out and try to get out there and spot for my team. But immediately the enemy 131 has been spotted. He'll definitely spot me if I continue to go forward, so I'm just going to hide here in the low ground with some fencing and some bushes. Make sure that he doesn't spot me out. I'm going to let him come forward, take the low ground and hide there. I'm loading up my HE and I'm going to stay away from him so that he doesn't proxy spot me, and he's going to, you know, try to go around the corner, auto aim him and shoot him in the ass and get 268 damage out of that. And yeah, and now I'm using the slope here, and I'm going to hang on. I'm going to hang around the slope. Why? Because there is 2 or 3 RT, so RT is going to shoot, and if you're on a slope in a light tank, it's more difficult for RT to hit you if you're hanging around a slope. And I stayed away from the bush because I knew RT could hit there, and which he did. Now I reverse up into the bush, and if I do get spotted here, I can just hit the forward key and run away. So I reversed into that bush just to play safe in case I need to you know, get spotted, run away. I'll just hit the forward key and I'm off. What's happening now is we are leading by 2-0. I've got 900 spotting assisted damage for spotting, and now I'm taking up this bush that I wanted to go early in the game, and there you go, there is the GSOR 1008. I can't take him on my own, so I'm hoping that artillery and the STA2 perhaps could finish him off. Now I could shoot at this Leo, but remember, I'm shooting at a distance very far away, and with my 793 shell velocity, probably not going to hit that Leo, but with a little bit of practice and playing this tank over a period of time, I probably could get used to the shell velocity and hit my long distance targets a little bit better. It just takes a lot of time. That's the problem with shell velocity. If you're playing with a lot of tanks, some tanks have high velocity, some tanks have slow velocity. Adjusting to it just takes time. Play a lot of games, get used to the shell velocity, and then you'll be able to perform again. But right now I've got 917 spotting damage and just over 400 in damage with my own gun. I need the STA2 to get rid of the GSOR before I go forward, and he's gone. So I'm gonna take the enemy base. I'm going to go as close as possible to the base using these bushes here. Now in Malinovka you can do this, but you need to make sure you know where all the light tanks and enemy tanks are, and if you look at the enemy positions, all the light tanks are already dead, so it's just me. I'm gonna go as near as possible. Now you see my my teammates coming forward, STA2 and the T23E3. They're coming forward, they're coming close to me, and that's forcing me to go forward, because if I want to get the assisted damage, the spotting damage, I need to spot the enemies before my teammates spot them. And my teammates being this aggressive has forced me to go forward and try to be a little bit more aggressive. Now if I shoot at this Leo, I got a feeling that he could spot me, which is why I'm just waiting, hoping my teammates will shoot him, artillery will shoot him or something. But I'm gonna have to start moving forward pretty soon, because the tank destroyers, the Scorpion G, the E25 is coming in for some action soon, and if I want to earn some damage and earn some spotting or residual damage or assisted damage, I need to be doing a bit more work, which is why I'm firing at this tank. I'm shooting with the HE and not doing much. Switch back to my heat shells, and the E25 is being hyper aggressive, and you can see on my sides the STA2 is being aggressive as well, which means if I don't go forward, he's going to get the spotting damage. AMBT spots the Leo spots me, and the AMBT shoots at me. He gets one shot of damage. I've got to go further forward than the STA2 and these guys. The Scorpion G is already way ahead of me, but I am the light tank. I would get an advantage if I go forward because of my spotting abilities. I'm getting spotted here. There is an SU-130 PM. I need to roll back and get using the terrain, the terrain to get into a lower ground and stay safe from enemy snipers. And my teammates we are just winning this game too quickly, so I need to be even more aggressive than my teammates if I'm going to earn any kind of spotting damage, which I do, spotting the M12, and now I'm spotting this Scorpion. I don't make the shot, but my teammates do get the shot, but I get the assisted damage there from the Scorpion. And I need to keep going forward. I'm getting more assisted damage, but we're reaching the end of the game. There's only 4 more tanks left. I'm forced to be even more aggressive if I want to earn some more spotting or assisted damage here. So here you go. That was the AMBT spotting me. I tried to get away from him, but he's managed to shoot me and ram me at the same time. Hopefully I'll get a little bit more assisted damage from these guys. But that was the end of the game. I am dead. Got 1500 damage here and 2500 of assisted damage, and yeah, this is the Type 62 in 2022. It's on sale for a couple more days if you're still interested in it. Pretty cheap tank in my opinion, and a great tank to learn how to play light tanks in. Hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.